Hi, this is Courtney from the Valparaiso Branch of the Porter County Public Library System. As you can see today, it's going to be Harry Potter involved stuff. We'll be making 2 potions. One of them is going to be in a little vial like this. Another one's going to be in a mason jar. I got this at Walmart a while ago and I just had it sitting around the house. So you can use old pickle jars, you can use old soda pop bottles, anything that's glass that you can either recork or recap, and then we'll decorate the top of it so you won't see any of that stuff. And then we'll also be making Harry Potter wands. So this is one that I just did. They're out of these little doll rod things that you can get at any craft store. And then I have some old glass beads, but you can also use pony beads, seed beads, anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the potions first. Today we'll be making one that I'm actually going to cross use for my Dungeons & Dragons group. So we're going to go ahead and start with that one. And for that you'll need a vial with a cork. So the potion is black with green glitter. So you'll need rubbing alcohol or water, just something to dissolve the paint. And we're going to go ahead and put that in first, and then we'll be using glitter. So if you have a funnel, you can use a funnel, or just pour very, very carefully over a sink. So we're going to go ahead and just pour some in. And then we'll go ahead and take our paint. And we'll just squeeze a little bit in. So then you want to go ahead and cork that back up and then make sure it's in there really, really good. And then you're going to shake really good until all of that paint is dissolved. Okay, so then we're going to uncork it. It might take a minute because it's really stuck in there so we don't have any leaks. And then this one has green glitter in it, so we're going to go ahead and just dump some of that in. Again, I'm going to use my funnel because it's kind of a small hole. I'm going to use quite a bit of glitter because I really want it to shine through. Okay, and then we're going to shake really good again. All of these potions back here were made the same exact way that I'm making this one. You can find labels for them on Pinterest, like this is the Demiguy's hair. You can find all of these on Pinterest. Print them out and just stick them on. So we have our potion all ready to go. Now we're going to do the very top of it. I have an old candle from Halloween, and I'm just going to cut that little wick off. And then we're going to hot glue this onto the top of our cork. So in order to do that, we're going to make sure that this is in here really, really good. And then we're just going to add a little bit to the bottom of whatever item we're using to decorate the top of it, and then a little bit to the top. If it oozes over the side, that's okay because we're going to use some hot glue to make it look like a wax seal. So you're just going to hold it there. So it should look like something like that. And then we're going to take our hot glue and we're going to just go around the sides of the cork. This is to ensure that all of the liquid stays in, because over time the alcohol will evaporate in it. And then this is okay if it gets kind of messy because it's not going to be perfect. And we're not wizards or witches, so you know, we're making this by hand, so it's okay to be messy. If you're a kiddo doing this, make sure you have parental help, just because it is hot glue and we don't want you to burn yourself. So after that's done, we can go through and pull off all of the spider webs. Don't mind the clicking, it's the hot glue gun heating up the rest of the glue. All right, so as soon as that dries, we're gonna paint it the seal part black. But while that's drying, we're gonna go ahead and cut some yarn. It can be any color you want. Same for the potion, it can be any color you want. This is just a basic idea, and we're gonna cut some, and then we're gonna just tie it around this lower neck of the bottle. So we're just gonna tie it around this part here. So I'm gonna double it around and knot it in 2 different areas. So I knotted it the first time on one side, and then I pulled around the remainder and I knotted it over here. So I knotted it on this side first, and then I knotted it over here. And I'm gonna cut these so they're still sticking out, but they're not so long. All right, so it's gonna look a little something like that when you're done cutting those off. And now this is still warm, but it's cool enough that I can go ahead and paint it. I already have some black paint on a paper plate here with a paintbrush that I've already used. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna start painting. It may need 2 coats. I think I'm just gonna leave it with 1 because I kind of look like the see-through look of it. And then there might be a part, if you cut anything off, there's gonna be a lack of color where that area was. So you can go ahead and take that paint and cover up that. In this case, this is where the wick was. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just dab a little black paint on there. So now you can't really see where the wick was. As you can see, all of the glitter has settled on the bottom. To fix that, all you have to do is just give it a good old shake. And then now you can see it's not on the bottom anymore. This one back here that we have, again, I did the same kind of thing that we did with the smaller version, but this one is a purple with pearlescence in it, so you can kind of see that. All it is a 50-50 ratio of the rubbing alcohol and water, and then a pearlescent white paint to give it that shimmer to it. And then I just used black twine for it. So that is our liquid potion. So now we're going to do a potion ingredient, which is unicorn horn, which is going to be in a different jar, but it's going to look something like this. It's really easy to make. It's flour. If you have flake glitter, then like the unicorn colored glitter, then you can put that in there too. But today we're just going to do a mixture of purple and green. So we're going to take our little mason clip jar here. We're going to open that up. We're going to add in just a little bit of flour. I have a bowl of flour here, so we can just go ahead and get started with that. You don't really need a lot. You just need enough to cover the bottom and maybe halfway up the walls. So like just that, or more. You can do more if you want. I'm just gonna do this little bit here. And then I'm just gonna put in a whole bunch of glitter because I like sparkly things, and unicorns are obviously gonna be sparkly. I'll just add all the purple. And then I'm gonna take one of my skewers for the next craft and I'm gonna stir it really, really good. So you can see that it is now sparkly. So there is our ingredient, and again, you can print off labels. I'm actually going to leave this plain because I just kind of like how it looks. You can take more of that yarn that we used previously and you can wrap it around the bottom of it. Okay, so it's going to look like this when you're done, and I'll go ahead and show you how I did this. It's super simple to do, and it kind of looks a little fancy. So I'm going to go ahead and lower you here. So I'm going to undo this, and you'll see when I undo it. So what I did was I took my string, and then I folded it in half so I had a loop over here. And I just looped it around the jar, and then I pulled this two non-connected strings together. You're gonna lift it up so it's at the top of the jar, pull it tight, wrap them around, and then you're gonna cross in the back and tie it in the front in a knot so it doesn't come undone later. Okay, and then you're just going to trim the sides here. Okay, and then there's your unicorn horn ingredient. Okay, so the next craft we're going to do is our Harry Potter wands. So this one is the one that I made for the example. I have these glass beads that I don't really have matching ones, so I use them for crafts like this. And then I bought these little wooden dowels. You can get them at any craft store. So it's just beads, hot glue, and paint. You can make yours whatever color you want. I just happen to have black available. So we're using black. I've already pre-painted one of these sticks, so we'll go ahead and get started. Out of my little bead collection, I found 5 that I'm going to use. So I have 5 different ones here. Oops, sorry. I have 5 different beads here that I'm going to use. I'm going to glue them all together, and then I'll show you what they're going to look like, and then we'll attach it to our dowel. Okay, so now that I have them all glued together, they look like this. This is the pattern that I want them to look like. So now I'm going to go ahead and take my pre-painted dowel, and I'm just going to glue it on there. So how I like to do it is I like to glue the actual dowel and then just glue it right on top. You're going to have to hold until it dries because it is a bit lopsided and a little heavy. So when it's dry, I'll come back and we'll work on the rest of the wand. Okay, so now that it's dry, I did actually have one of the beads fall off, but I actually kind of like it like this better. We're going to go ahead and take some yarn, which we used in our last craft, and we're going to wrap the handle of it. And I'm going to show you how to do like the first steps of it, and then I'll come back and show you how to do the end of it because it is a bit of a long process when you start wrapping. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. Okay, so you're going to take the end of your yarn and you're going to make just a tiny little loop here, but you want to leave a tail. You don't want to knot it, you just want to leave a tail. And then you're going to lay it up against the part that you want to wrap. So you're going to just lay it against your wooden dowel here, and then you're going to take the longer side and you're going to start wrapping around that tail. Don't go under the tail. You're going to just wrap around it. It'll probably try to wrap with the longer so you can straighten it out as you wrap it. You're going to want to do this until this part is almost gone. You don't want to completely cover it up because you're going to need this to tie it off so it doesn't actually look tied. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it, and then we'll be right back, okay? Okay, so I have a lot of this extra yarn left on the dowel. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut a little bit off. So we're going to have this piece here. Okay, so this loop we made up here earlier, we're going to take the end of our longer string, and we're going to go ahead and just slide it through that loop like so. So when you do so, it's going to have like this extra here, and you're going to pull that as tight as you can. And now this little string here, the one that I said not to go all the way over, we're going to pull, and as we do so, the loop is going to actually go underneath all of the stuff that we just wrapped. So we're just going to go ahead and pull. On wood it's a little harder because it's a more coarse surface. This is usually meant for glass, for decorative jars, things like that, but I use it a lot in my own crafts because it's a lot easier than wrapping, gluing, and tying at the same time. And now I have this extra, but before I want a little bit more texture in this part here. So I'm going to tie these two together, and then I'm going to cut the excess off. So now that I have a little bit more texture there, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, and then we will go ahead and do some touch-ups to the very top of our wand here. Okay, so now that those are cut off, I'm going to go ahead and take my black paint, and I'm going to go ahead and touch up the extra hot glue that we had here from when we attached the decorative beads. Okay, and now that's done, the wand is finished. You can make these wands so personable. You can do them however you want. You can make them for a Harry Potter interactive movie. You could make them for a friend when for their birthday, or you know, just as a little special touch to, you know, reading the books or watching the movies. They're just a fun little craft to do, especially on a cold, windy day. So I hope you guys enjoy making the potions and the wands. And if you guys do make any of these, don't forget to put in our comments pictures that you've done. We would love to see them. And I hope you all have a good rest of your week, and thank you for watching.